Hello, everyone. I am Scott Logan. Scott is on vacation. He'll be back. I'm Logan Hansen. I'm here with Matt Morris doing the simple question for today, talking about the MLB, specifically the two New York teams that are first in their division. We got the New York Yankees and the New York Mets. Matt, I have a simple question for you.
All right.
Who do you trust most, New York Mets or the New York Yankees?
You know, I got to go with the Yankees right now, Logan. I think that you got to go with the historically great team. And yes, the Yankees have not been as good as they used to be in the past, especially, the 90s, early 2000s. But this team right now is firing on all cylinders, and they've just been dominant on both offense and defense. You look at the pitching with their rotation with Cortez, Cole, Talon, and Severino. That is dominant. Then you still have Chapman in the bullpen with Clay Holmes, and they are actually one of the top teams in the league in saves right now. They're one of the top teams in getting strikeouts. This is a team that, with Cortez, guy has a sub-2 ERA right now, and it's just been very dominant. So I think the pitching on one side, and then to mix that in, not just dominant pitching, but they have unbelievable bats right now. Aaron Judge is having a unbelievable year as of right now. Might be an early MVP candidate and one of the favorites to win it. Batting .318, leads the league in home runs. So when you mix those two things together, you have that offense that we know that this New York Yankees team has had in the past, and you add that with the pitching, it's hard to beat a team like that. And as you move forward, the biggest thing will be the health. And if they can stay healthy, because that's been the hindrance of this Yankees team in the last few years, is, Judge gets an injury, Stanton gets an injury. Important key pieces get hurt. So let's see, but I'm trusting the Yankees as of right now.
Yeah, and I understand that. Cortez, I believe he's leading the MLB in ERA. He is just going off, and obviously you double that with Garrett Cole, a guy who's been Cy Young candidate. And then, offensively, you have the home runs of that team. I know Anthony Rizzo, our guy, kind of benefits from the short porch there, but he has over 10 home runs. You got Giancarlo Stanton, ain't no joke. Aaron Judge, I mean, that's a lot of home runs. But I'm going to differ with you here.
All right.
I'm actually going to go with the Mets. I know right now, it's probably a buy low kind of situation because of the injury to Max Scherzer. You're still waiting on Jacob deGrom, and I'm not saying right now, this month or the next month, that they're going to be the most dominant team, because they aren't. They have their top two aces are out with injuries. That's going to be a really tough thing to bounce back from, but they have such a good, solid base. They have, Chris Bassett, who's doing really well, Carlos Carrasco, who is doing very well, and then you have Edwin Diaz, who is just doing really well as a closer for them. He has 10 saves out of 12 opportunities. I mean, that's a pretty solid lineup. They're still in the top 10 in ERA. Obviously, with Scherzer going out, we'll see how that kind of buoys with him being out, but I think they'll be okay. That just shows a good team bullpen kind of working out there. And then offensively, they are top 3 in both on-base percentage and as well as average. So, I mean, it's a team that, they don't hit the home run, the deep fly like the Yankees do, but they get on base, and they also are in the top 10 with the least strikeouts. So they don't swing at ugly pitches. They get on base. They score runs pretty easily. I mean, I just feel like that solid base will make them a solid contender, really hard to get out. And you add in when deGrom comes back, when Scherzer comes back. I mean, that is going to be a dominant staff, I think, here in the near future, and one that, come playoff time, is going to be a hard one to face.
It will be dominant. It is interesting that both these teams have such great bullpens right now. The biggest question, and pitching rotations in general, but here's the thing. The Mets are still the Mets. And that is going to be, until proven otherwise, I'm sorry, Mets fans, you are still the Mets. And it wasn't too long ago that right after the first pitch of the season was already over. And so I think it's not even that they don't have the talent, because they certainly do, but you see the issues that happen when you're a team that has that kind of 800-pound gorilla on your back, as far as, we can't be like this past Mets team. Like what happens, if they start hitting that slump, are they going to be able to right the ship, or are they going to just completely fall apart like you've seen in the past from teams that are like that? What comes to mind kind of is, we just saw it in the NHL with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Once again, even though they were favorites, they lose in 7.
The Suns too.
And the Suns, exactly. Yeah. You look at these teams that have this history of not doing well or falling apart. That's what I worry about with the Mets. And not to say the Yankees haven't been in that same sort of boat recently, but I trust injuries a little bit more. Like, I think that they can stay healthy if they're being managed correctly, and I think the Yankees are being managed correctly. And so that's why I'm kind of going with them. Not to mention the American League is just a little easy. Like, overall, they have some great teams, but the Yankees are at the top of that list of great teams, and then there's a lot of kind of not so great teams, so it's going to be a little bit of an easier road moving forward.
Yeah, and there's no true front runner like the Dodgers are in the NL, right?
Yep.
I mean, you could maybe say the Astros, but now you have the Yankees are in there. I mean, the Angels are really competitive out there. So it's like, are they going to be in that mix? Definitely. Compared to National League, you have to prove you can beat the Dodgers. And can the Mets do that? That'll be interesting. But overall, I mean, like you said, you took the words out of my mouth. The Yankees haven't been doing that great with this group. Like, they never have won anything. If you're a New York fan, you have to win something, which is the championship. They haven't done that yet. But I'm not saying that they won't. They definitely have the talent to. And for the Mets, get your injuries out of the way early, just like the White Sox. Get them out of the way early. It'll be beneficial for you going in the future, because hopefully it doesn't happen to you in the postseason where you lose the guys when it matters most. Yankees aren't doing that right now. That's why I'm sticking with the Mets.
Well, listen, let's just say both New York teams are doing pretty well right now.
Oh, yeah,
Let us know what you think in the comments section. Tell us how we're doing. For Matt Morris and Logan Hansen, this has been Simple Question. We'll see you tomorrow.